Hello, this is Real Audio and I'm continuing on our quest how to build your system step by step. And this is the blueprint on a quick guide to a productive system upgrade path. So I'm outlining a general systems progression that will lead to with the highest chance of success. It's not foolproof. We can always make bad choices, so don't think that I was following your advice and then I bought product XYZ and it totally crapped it up. It can happen. So however, if you follow this route, then you can more easily identify where you have gone wrong, and your chances of going wrong will be a fraction compared to not following a systematic approach to developing your audio system. So step 0 was the room, and I called it step 0 because that's the foundation and it's absolutely critical. And if you ignore it, you are preparing for failure, automatic failure. It's kind of like not showing up for a test. It doesn't matter how much you do, how much you know. If you don't show up for the test, you automatically fail every exam. So now, knowing the room, you have shown up the test for the test, and now we are talking about step 1, and this is commitment. And this commitment will really require you to get the type of speakers around which you are going to build your system. Because an audio system is not just a random daisy chain of your source, preamp, amplifier, loudspeaker, and all connected by wires, and all of them play some part, but everything plays the full completion together. It's not like that. It's really 50% of the sound you hear is your room acoustics. The other 50% of the sound is the electricity that powers your audio gear, and your audio gear is just the conversion device that uses the music software as cookbook on how to mix together the electricity from your wall or from your batteries with your room acoustics to produce sound for your ears. So as you see here, the two most critical component is for your ears, which is your subjective preferences, and also your room and the electricity. Now I'm not talking about the electricity and how to approach that, because that's I already really went into that in great length, and I'm not going to do that right now, because that would be, actually I can add this at the very end. So right now this is about commitment, and commitment means that you need to subscribe to a systematic approach of building your system. And there are two approaches: the mainstream approach or purist approach, and you have to pick one. I know there's loads of people who are kind of like fluctuating between the two and trying mix and match, and there is limited success for that, but not committing means that you are in the comfortable zone, that I'm neither too cold, neither too hot, but you are stuck with mediocrity, and you won't be able to really come out from a rut. You will be stuck in the ditches, in the trenches, and you cannot really shoot out from there because your system lacks cohesion, and you lack the focus on how to get the most out of it. So basically, what I call as a mainstream approach is complicated equipment, complicated and modern solutions, and lots of bells and whistles, loads of power, uh, high excursion drivers, high current drivers and loudspeakers, complicated loudspeakers, this sort of approach where you are using more and more and more and more and more technology to control the sound. So you are employing layers and layers and layers of control, of error correction, of just keeping every aspect of the sound together and under control. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing or this is a bad thing, but what I'm saying that this is an approach. And if you have elements in your system that employ this approach, then you will be most successful when you expand this for your entire system. So you do not hamstring your system just by employing, let's say, DSP at the crossover level or DSP at the room correction level, but keep it holistic. So you employ the system from your deck through your crossover, room correction, everything, put it together. And keep it in the digital domain. Do not just have a system where you have a DAC and you convert its signal to the analog domain and amplify the signal in an analog fashion so that to redigitize again for the crossover and room correction, or maybe you have a separate room correction again. So do not do like analog digital, all sorts of jump back and forth. Keep it together, keep it focused, keep your eyes on the goal. So for example, if you have like a digital DSP room correction, then by all means also go for DSP crossover. So if you introduce DSP for your system, then get the most out of it. And do not just waste your focus on oscillating between approaches. It's kind of like trying to saddle two horses. It might look very fancy trying to saddle two horses, but sooner or later, everyone who tries that will either land on the pasture, or even if you don't, you can, when you are riding a single horse, you just have so much control over it. You can do so much more when you compare to saddling two horses. I know it was a lame analogy, but maybe it's quite visual. So basically, whatever your choice, wherever you want to go, pick your choice right in the beginning, and find loudspeakers that first of all work in your room. So choose them in a way that it works in your room. So for example, if you have a huge room, do not choose tiny bookshelves for it. Go for something that has the capacity to fill the room with sound. Or if you have a tiny room, do not get loudspeakers that barely fit in your room, or maybe you have to knock down a wall to get it inside your room. Yes, I heard examples people who did that, to knock down a whole wall to cram in a speaker, and then they realize that it's not going to work because they don't even have place to sit down. So I know these are extremes, and you would think that you are this is just people are stupid to do such things, but yes, We are audiophiles, and as audiophiles we all do stupid things, and which at the time when we are doing it might seem as the best choice, as the right choice, because I'm finally getting that loudspeaker that everyone is raving about. But what you might not realize, it will not work in your room. So that's why I said in my previous episode to first familiarize yourself with room acoustics, and now find out what are the speakers that will work in your room, and go and audition loudspeakers, or maybe build your own, and then build your system around those loudspeakers. And not choosing a dedicated path, so you don't pick mainstream or purist, that, and you just keep on aimlessly or goallessly switching between different loudspeakers or different amplifiers, and just going like what was the latest and hottest recommendation by the reviewers. That is the road to audio hell. So that's the best advice you can receive to stay on audio hellbound, is to not pick your path. And however, after you have picked your path, I would say focus on getting the right loudspeaker for your system, put most of your budget in there, and just get a decent amplifier at this stage to match the loudspeaker that you have chosen. So for example, if you have chosen, let's say, loudspeakers, I will not name brand names, loudspeakers which have an impedance dip to 1.5 ohms, then please do yourself a favor and forget about single-ended triodes. Do not waste any time whatsoever, not because they are crap or we want to make put adjectives on them. It's just because those are not suitable to drive your chosen loudspeakers. It doesn't mean that a specific single-ended amplifier is not a good amplifier. It means that it was not built to drive a loudspeaker with a 1.5 ohm impedance dip. So that's not good. It's kind of like trying to put Indian cuisine spices into a French dish. It just won't work. Yes, you will come up with very creative recipes and very unusual taste, and maybe you will get something that you will like, but I can tell you that you are going to get something that 99% of people will find undesirable. So that's why I would recommend to pick your speakers and match the amp with the philosophy. So low impedance loudspeakers, or I would say, as they say, current hungry loudspeakers, require high power amplifiers with high damping factor. And if you neglect this, then the system will sound wimpy. If you are not interested in power delivery, well, that's not an issue. But if you are, then it's going to be a really big issue. And it's not just power delivery, everything else will be affected, and so that your system development will be very severely hamstringed. And if you love either the loudspeaker, either the amp, just get the other component that matches it. So step 2, after you have paid attention to your room, you have chosen the loudspeaker that works in your room and is also suitable for your taste, and you have the amplifier that drives that loudspeaker properly. Now the next step to focus on is the source. And here I would recommend to get a good, decent source that has a balanced sound. And here I really highly suggest to do serious research on what is a balanced sounding, natural sounding music source, because the rest of the system development is completely hinging on that. One mistake that I've seen people do is to get a source that has a highly colored or highly proprietary sound. It has a strong house sound to it that reflects on its manufacturer. Then you will build the rest of your system, you will balance the rest of your system to compensate for those weaknesses. And you will be unable to have a long-term solution, because you will be really stuck with that source. And later on, if you are ready to upgrade your source, you can't do it because the rest of your system is optimized for that specific source. So if you don't want to corner yourself into a dead end, make sure that your source, whether digital or analog, has a balanced sound that caters to your sonic preferences, to your taste. And this is where a serious discussion with an audio dealer is necessary, who is a trustworthy and dependable salesman, who knows about equipment matching, about what is the house sound of the brands, and you should talk to that person and ask their advice. What is it that they recommend for you? That's a very serious consultation. And here you go. For digital, my very quick advice is that get a CD player. Get a good, dependable CD player as your reference. Do not choose a streamer as your reference to voice your system to it, because there are so many it can go really sour, and there are all sorts of different reviews on streamers. They can be a total success or a total nightmare with and there is like the tiniest system choices can trigger the difference between them. And I am not a seer, but I can predict one thing without a crystal ball, is if you pick a streamer for your reference, then you are 100% setting yourself up for total failure on system synergy in the future. So I would say get a CD player as a solid start. Next to it, you can have your streamer, your dream streamer, but do not voice your system to it, because streamer technology is still in its infancy. It's just going through enormous changes, developments year by year. And whatever is today a good streamer, in a few years, this landscape might, I think it will totally change from now. And I cannot make any predictions on any directions. What I can predict is that CD will be a solid reference for the next few decades. And analog, that will be in the next episode, because I'm pushing the time limits. So thank you, please like, subscribe, have an amazing day, enjoy your stereo. Bye bye.